Hello, say Charat. So there are people who really want to improve their lives, but they are afraid of looking greedy. How can you live well without being greedy? The desire to prosper and seek improvements is essential to avoid apathy and mediocrity. But we don't want the exaggeration of being seduced by endless greed, because this only brings suffering. So on the one hand, you must set goals for your life, living with purpose and making your dreams come true. But on the other hand, you must avoid greed. You have to be able to show gratitude for what you already have. You must avoid becoming attached to the infinite desire of wanting more and more. And this causes confusion in the minds of many people. On the one hand, they tell you should be happy with what you have, but on the other hand, they tell you to always look for more. So, what should you do? How can you reconcile all of this? See, there is no contradiction between wanting more and being satisfied with what you have. It is true that you should not embrace apathy or become sloppy or stagnant. The lack of a desire to improve can indicate that you're not living up to your purpose. It is important to find meaning in your life. On the other hand, the excess in the pursuit of infinite goals can be a great source of suffering. But what causes suffering is not the desire to achieve a goal. It is the attachment to looking only at the final goal without enjoying the entire path that leads to that goal. And in exaggerated situations, this attachment can turn into greed. Greed arises when you're never satisfied. You're increasingly wanting more and more, only for you, at any cost, ignoring other people's needs and also ignoring your personal values. Take a look if you recognize this pattern. You set a goal, you suffer a lot to achieve that goal, and then finally you get a little bit of happiness. In that short moment when you achieve the goal, the feeling of happiness is very good, but soon after, that feeling goes away. And then you set another goal, then you are unhappy again, and the cycle begins again. In doing so, your life will be composed of long periods of suffering and then just a few moments of happiness here and there. That doesn't seem to be very smart, so we need to think about an alternative. You can improve your focus to find satisfaction in what you already have while looking for improvements. The key word to reconcile the desire to want more with the satisfaction with what you already have is focus. Learn to focus on the present moment. Learn to enjoy every step of the journey towards your goals, and in doing so, all the apparent contradiction between wanting more and thanking for what you already have will disappear. We are usually unhappy in the face of disappointment. We can suffer unnecessarily when we think that someone behaves in a way that we don't approve, or when we don't like something that is happening, or when the things that we would like to happen just don't happen. A lot of people try to solve this problem by trying to avoid unwanted situations and just hoping that everything will happen exactly as they want. And these are usually immature people who still believe that with a plan, you have everything you need and that will just work out. Everything will be fine. Over time, we mature and we see that this is impossible. There is no one in the world who has their desires always satisfied. Unwanted events are inevitable. And so, how can we stop reacting with suffering to the things that we don't like? For you not to be greedy, try to focus on the present moment. When we are suffering because of some unfulfilled goal, we're almost always out of the present moment. It is positive to wish for something better. However, beware of exaggerated suffering when you still don't have what you would like to have. Just take the test. When you suffer, when you complain about something related to your body, your job, or anything else, what are you doing? You're generally imagining that things should be different than they are today. And this can activate your desire for change. And that is a positive thing when you're motivated by a purpose, a dream for improvement. But be careful, because many people consider themselves to be enlightened, detached, but they're actually apathetic. Desiring nothing is a way of apathy, it is an attachment to detachment. It is believing that we need to anesthetize ourselves and not feeling too much happiness or too much sadness, just accept things as they are. Balance is necessary. I want neither the extreme of apathy or the extreme of greed. For this, the desire to improve is fundamental. And so that this desire does not become a source of unhappiness, you need to keep your focus on the present moment. And to do this, there are many techniques. One that I really like is that you focus only on the next step of the journey. For example, let's imagine that you are not satisfied with your body. So you set a goal and you define the body you would like to have, right? Instead of just thinking about that ultimate goal, complaining about your body all along the way that it's still not the way you like it to be, you should focus only on the next practical step you can take to transform your body. You're going to focus only on the present day, only on the next meal, only the next bite you're going to have in your meal. In doing so, you're learning to be satisfied with being on the path. You're learning to thank every step you take while you're moving yourself towards your greatest goals. Focus is the key word for you to realize your biggest dreams and at the same time to have satisfaction with every step you take on the journey. Instead of being attached to the desire for different things, you set yourself in motion with focus on the present moment to move forward with satisfaction day after day. Without focus, you run the risk of being one of those people who start several projects and never finish anything just because you're never satisfied. For those of you who want to have more focus, to improve your focus with various techniques to focus better, I invite you to learn more about the Focus Course by visiting arata.se/focus course.